Hey there, Aquarius. This is your subscriber content for this week. Thank you again for continuing to subscribe. I appreciate you greatly. Let's see what we get. Okay, so this one's for my Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. What you got? What you got at the center of your life right now? What is it you're worried about? What is it you're enamored with? What is it you're chasing after? Whatever. What's at the center? What's in the front of your brain? Temperance. I have one Aquarius that I read for sometimes that this is the funniest card in the world for it to come up in this position. But anyways, Temperance. So it would seem that you are being forced, to exhibit a great deal more patience in life in general right now than you want to. Okay. Everything that you do seems to hit some sort of snag and be pushed off just a little bit, right? You have to wait a little bit longer, or you have to deal with people that are just constantly getting at you, it seems, and so that you have to exhibit great amounts of patience. I'm sure there is a lesson in here somewhere, but at any rate, let's keep going. So what is the challenge to this patience? The Queen of Swords. So you're presenting as the Queen of Swords. And I think it is because of the extended amount of time that you have been pushed to exhibit more patience than you wanted to, that you are finding yourself, I don't know, maybe a little bit defensive, a little bit resentful, a little bit like you just don't care anymore, right? Tired of waiting maybe for things to come into fruition, so you're just going to let it go is how it looks. You're giving up. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, what is it you need to focus on? The Two of Wands. Maybe the reason you are being forced to exhibit such great amounts of patience, and the reason that's, you're turning up as the Queen of Swords being all resentful and defensive, maybe it's all because you haven't made this decision here. Maybe if you would just make this decision, the constant need for you to be patient would stop. Maybe right now you're keeping spirit in a sense of constantly having to exhibit patience with you because you won't make this decision. Which path do you want to take to the rest of your life? That's the deal. Just saying. Okay. What is it you need to let go of? The Ace of Swords. There is something here about you needing the truth. You need closure. You need, I don't know, I guess maybe you're the person that just needs to be in the know. But you are on a constant crusade for this honesty and truth. Some sort of truth. Maybe it's all the truth, right? Maybe you want all the gossip. I'm not sure. But there's something here that you are holding yourself hostage for, basically. Like you're holding yourself hostage for some sort of truth. And it's not something that even directly affects you anymore, I feel like. I feel like it's something from your past that you didn't gain the proper amount of closure on. It's time to let that go. Okay, that's what they're saying. What is it that what is your strength here? What do we got? What's your strength? The Eight of Pentacles. When you're invested, you're all in, If you could just decide what to invest in, you'd be made in the shade right now. I don't know if you're waiting for somebody else to decide for you or for somebody else to, I don't know what you're waiting for, really. But still we wait. All right. What do you have in the near future? The Star card. So this is your card anyways. This is you standing in your power, okay? This is you having all the hope and faith in the world that everything is going to work out just fine. You have this well of optimism that never seems to dry up because things will always get better. But if what you're concerned with or what you're tired of is constantly having to be patient or having to wait for things, then make this decision down here, and I feel like that will start to alleviate that patience problem. Okay? All right. What is the advice? The Three of Pentacles. Figure out who it is that you want to collaborate with, if anybody. If the answer is nobody, then so be it. Make that decision and go forward. And otherwise, it is you figuring out who it is you want to collaborate with. Okay? Or figuring out that you do or do not want to collaborate with a certain person. How's that? What is the atmosphere? The atmosphere is the Page of Pentacles. So you're trying to learn something new. You're trying to build a new foundation. You're trying to have a clean, fresh start or something to get to the rest of your life. You can't very well make that happen unless you make decisions. Okay? You can't stay in constant limbo. Well, you could, but then you're going to keep being required to come up with all this massive amount of patience. And you're not going to get to where you want to go. Okay? All right, what is your greatest fear here? The Four of Wands. So I got to tell you the truth. It feels like most of this is coming down to a person, place, or thing, but I feel like for a lot of you it's a person, right? Your greatest fear is that this is your higher level soulmate. This is the person that you are intended to be with. And you're afraid that you're either going to lose it, it's going to get away from you, or you're afraid that, I don't know what, maybe you're afraid to be happy. Possibility. As long as you don't stay really happy, then you don't have to worry about ever becoming really sad, right? So maybe that's the issue here. Maybe you're hopeful that you can just toe the line somewhere in the middle and not have any highs or lows. Boring. Anyways, okay, moving on. Here we go. What do I see for you? Four of Pentacles. Well, you don't intend to let go of whatever this is that you're terrified of, whether it's a person, place, or thing. But like I said, for most of you, it's a person. You won't make the solid decision to stay with the person or to go in that direction. However, you're not willing to let go of it. That's just cruel and unusual punishment, both to you and the person involved, if that's what this is a person. Happy's kind of fun, you know. I mean, it is to be happy. It's not as treacherous as you seem to feel like it is. I'm just saying. All right. That's what I got for you, Aquarius. Let's see. We'll get 3 off the bottom and I'll let it go. 3 of Wands. Looking towards your future. Judgment and justice. Are you afraid you're going to be judged for whatever this is? For deciding to embark on this journey? Is that what you're afraid of? You're going to be judged? And in reality, this is justice playing out. This is something that Spirit's sending you because of all the things that have gone wrong in the past. Because it's your turn. And you won't make the decision to walk forward into it. Come on now. If you don't want to make that decision, that's fine. But then make the decision to walk away from it. Don't keep holding everybody hostage, including yourself. Okay? That's for Aquarius. All right. Hey there, Pisces. How are you tonight? This is your subscriber content for this week. So we're just going to pull a Celtic cross and see what comes out. Pretty easy. Okay, let's see what you get. Okay, so for my Pisces. Okay, Pisces. What is it that's in the front of your brain right now? What are you worried about? What are you working towards? What is it you're chasing or not, or running away from? Whatever. What's right there in the front? What do you got? The Sun. Well, that's a pretty good card to have right in the front. So you are definitely focused on your happiness. Your happiness may well be tied into feeling as though things around you have been enlightened. You know, you've been enlightened to the things around you possibly. Maybe there's things that you are trying to sort through or get to the bottom of and you're looking for a sense of clarity. That's another definition on the Sun. But for the most part, most people consider it the happiest card in the deck, right? So let's see where we go from there. Okay, so what's challenging this happiness or this illumination? What do we got? The Star. Okay, so it would appear, with the Star being what challenges it, that possibly what you are looking for is definitely a sense of clarity. Because with the Star card, it makes me feel like you are clouding your own judgment, or you are... It's like you're not allowing yourself to see things really clearly, possibly. And I think you've come to that realization at this point. So despite your best efforts, I would say that you have, unfortunately or fortunately, come to a point now where you realize that you're not seeing everything in the situation clearly. So that's why you're trying to change that, maybe. Okay, let's see. What is it you need to focus on? The King of Wands. Okay, honey, I don't feel like you're the King of Wands. So did you get yourself involved with somebody? Somebody who's a natural born leader, lots of fun, always up for adventure, but not necessarily looking to be tied down or very hard to tie down. Are you involved with somebody that's very hard to tie down? Maybe you have fallen for their potential versus their reality. Let's see. Okay, what do you need to leave behind? The Hermit. Okay, here's what I see here. I feel like you have managed to get yourself together with somebody who maybe they walk through life with a different set of morals or ethics than maybe you and I do. Okay, maybe they have their own way of looking at things. Maybe this is somebody who feels like what you don't know won't hurt you. Those kind of silly sayings, right? I think that you have figured out that you are not seeing things clearly. I think that it's killing you inside because you did have all the hope in the world in this person, place or thing, but it feels like a person, okay, in this person. And so right this minute, I think that you are trying to, it's almost like you're embarrassed, but you're embarrassed to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't look yourself in the mirror right now. And it's because of the fact that you misjudged this situation. And inside of yourself, you know, you really didn't misjudge this situation necessarily, because now you look backwards and you see all the signs. But you just were choosing not to pay attention to them because you are falling for this person's potential, like I said. But you can't make somebody, you know, live up to their potential, right? So what you need to leave behind is this reclusiveness that you've suddenly adapted because you don't want to talk to anybody or tell anybody exactly what's happened. Okay, let's keep going. What is your strength here? The Three of Wands. Your strength is the future, sweetheart. This might be a terrible situation. It looks like it's pretty dicey. I can't lie at this point. But you know what? Tomorrow, this will be part of your past. And that's just the way this goes. So, I mean, your strength here is the future. Just keep looking forward, okay? Don't look backwards. We already seen that. That didn't work out or something. I don't know. Don't look back there. Just keep going forward. That's how I see this. I know it's much easier said than done, but it's a goal to work towards, right? Okay, what do we have here? In the near future, the Tower. Okay, so this whole thing where you figured out that you aren't seeing things clearly has got to be something that's fairly fresh, right? This is fairly new. Because I get the feeling with this in the near future, obviously, the Tower has yet to fall. You're headed there, and you know it, but it's yet to fall, huh? I feel like you're afraid of it. There's really never a reason to fear the Tower. I can't tell you it's comfortable or it feels great, but I mean, it is clearing something out that was not going to go forward anyway. So it's kind of like necessary, you know? I don't feel like you're standing on the wrong side of this Tower. I don't, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't, I understand fearing the unknown, but I don't think that this is something that's a negative in your life. It's really a positive. Okay, what do we have? What is the advice? Eight of Wands, communication. If there's one thing that's absolutely true in this particular dynamic, it couldn't have gotten to this point unless there was a lack of communication and a very strong ability to only see what you want to see, right? So there needs to be open and honest communication here. Who knows? Maybe with open and honest communication, you could figure out that maybe you two aren't that far out of alignment and you could figure this out. You never know, you know, but you got to give it a shot. And that's what needs to happen, is there needs to be communication. Okay, what is the atmosphere? King of Pentacles, huh? Well, here lies another issue I see, to be honest with you. I do believe you're coming through as the King of Pentacles, and this person that you are dealing with is coming through as the King of Wands. Two kings nor two queens will ever be able to make something go forward successfully for a long amount of time. With two kings, we have two different people that are running the kingdom, and nobody's following. Everybody's leading, nobody's following. There's a lot of ego here, a lot of pride. So nobody's going to compromise. I mean, it doesn't take us, a rocket scientist, to figure out that that's really not going to work out. Now, Pisces is not a sign I normally see step into their masculine quite so much. So something had to happen that made you feel like you needed to run the show. Maybe they were too busy off elsewhere, huh? But with two people in their masculine, it's just, yeah, there has to be a give and take, and there's no give and take with two people in their king status. All right, what's your biggest fear? The Page of Wands. You're afraid of fun? You're afraid to cut loose. You're afraid to lose control. You're afraid of fun. Afraid of impulsive action. Afraid of anything that isn't totally controlled. I'm sure that there's a reason why you're that way. I'm sure that it has been hard fought to get to the point you're at right now, and I'm sure life experiences have pushed you in that direction. But think about what you're saying here, you know. If you cannot find a sense of vulnerability in your life towards certain situations or people, you will never find true love or true happiness. Total control in a situation does not lend itself to true happiness or true love. So, here again, I know it's easier said than done, but you have got to figure out how to relax the control at some point. Well, you don't have to. You can do it this way, as long as you're happy with where you're at right now, because that's pretty much where you will, continue to be. Okay, what do we have going forward? 8 of Pentacles. You're going to be fine. You are going to figure out how to surrender some of this control, I believe, because I believe you're totally invested. Now, you could be totally invested in staying in control, and if that's what it is, then I guess that makes you happy, and that's where you'll continue. But I do believe in reality you're totally invested in trying to find happiness, real happiness. So I feel like as long as you keep pursuing that dream, then you will find it. You will find somebody that makes you feel safe enough to surrender some sort of control and be vulnerable. I'm not saying it's going to happen this week, but it's a path to take to get there, right? All right, what do we got on the bottom? The Hierophant, the Emperor, and the Four of Cups. What's absolutely for certain is that you are not satisfied. You are greatly disappointed in wherever you're at right this minute. And it's because this person is not holding up their end of the deal, their end of the bargain. You're dealing with somebody who feels like they're an emperor, even though they're a king of wands. They are very stubborn, very bullheaded, very passionate, very fiery, but definitely not the kind of person that's looking to necessarily be tied down or tied to anything. They're out to experience the world. With the Hierophant, you had very high hopes that this was going to be a higher level of commitment, if you weren't already in a higher level of commitment with this person. The problem is you were in one. It does not necessarily look like they were. Okay? I know that's all kind of harsh, but really, if you were to take this if you were to look at it from up top here, in the end, this is actually a really great reading, because it is obvious that you're not satisfied. And I don't believe that the two of you can get into an alignment that's going to cause you to find satisfaction here, unless you guys could talk it out and find some common ground. Hey, Aries, how are you today? My name is, you know my name because you subscribed to me. I'm sorry, this is my subscriber content for this week. Let me move my orange out of the way. Okay. We're just going to pull a Celtic cross and see what they say there that is in store for my Aries this week, okay? All right, this one's for my Aries, Aries, Aries. Oh, and thank you for still subscribing. I appreciate it. All right. Okay, Aries, what you got in the front of your brain? What are you worried about? What are you chasing after? What is it that you're running from? What are we doing this week? What you got? The Page of Wands. So it's definitely a, we are talking to Aries, huh? So it's definitely a fiery, passionate, fun-based or fun, in search of fun, in search of excitement, in search of adventure. Let me see what it is that's challenging you before I say much. There you go. Yeah, the Three of Swords. So it feels as though you have yourself in a situation that maybe has not gone as planned, okay? It does feel like this is some sort of a union. I don't know that I'm positive it's a romantic union. I feel like this could almost be like a friendship that you have invested a great deal into. I guess that's a relationship too, huh? But I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it has so much romance involved in it, but it is something that you strongly invested in. I feel like something has gone awry within this dynamic, okay? And I'm not sure if what went awry was technically your fault. So you are trying very hard to, I don't know, stay busy or have fun, and so that you don't think about it. Or it was their fault and, it's got you. So you're trying to do something to just not think about it, right? You're trying to just fill the space, fill the time with something else. And the something else you're trying to do is whatever, excitement, fun, adventure, something along those lines, something that scrambles your brain so that you're not thinking about whatever took place here. Okay? You're still going to have to deal with this broken heart at some point, though. It's just kind of the way it works. And if you don't deal with it now, it's going to come out at the very worst possible time, a cousin's wedding or something. It'll come out just exactly when you don't need it to, is when this broken heart will show back up and try to make you deal with it. But at any rate, okay, what is it you need to focus on? Temperance. Okay. So you need to focus on being patient, both with the person involved and with yourself, huh? Probably more so with yourself than anything. Yeah. I'm a Gemini, so I get it. Okay, Gemini's, Aries. Patience is not one of our strong suits, to be certain, for sure. But that's what they're telling you need to focus on, is being more patient. All right, let's keep going. What do you got? What do you need to let go of? Eight of Pentacles. So this is being totally committed to something. I don't think you're totally committed to the person that's involved in this, but you could be totally committed to like revenge or to evening the score or something along those lines. I do feel you have found a sense of complete dedication to something. I just don't know that it's something that would be considered a positive, okay? It feels like you are, you know, yeah, it's either to get even or to even the score or to show them or something like that. You know, this is the kind of situation where, I don't know, if you and, let's say it is a boyfriend or girlfriend and the two of you have broken up because you just broke up and now you're out to go find somebody else tonight to put, you know, to shove in their face or something. That kind of stuff. You're dedicated to making them pay for whatever's happened here. And that's even though I feel for a lot of you, it was actually your fault, technically, if you want to really be technical here. But at any rate, we're going to go through there. So you need to let go of that. This need to even the score, make them pay, that kind of stuff, that needs to be, that's not good. Okay, it's going to just rack up bad karma. That's how I see that. Okay, here we go. What's your strength? Four of Wands. Your strength here is that this is a higher level soulmate. I'm going to have to say that your strength in this situation is that you know this is more than likely going to come back together. It feels like this is not over. So to cause either one of you to continue to try to cause the other one pain is going to be very detrimental to this in the long run. I'm not sure what took place here, but it looks like with the Four of Wands on top, I mean, it could just be a very destined situation, but I don't know why that would be your strength here. Your strength seems to be that the emotions between the two of you are otherworldly in a lot of ways. And then in the end, the two of you will come back together. That's how I see this. What do you got in the near future? The Six of Cups. Yeah. You guys have a sense of nostalgia. I mean, it's like your souls are woven together in a way that it's, I'm not saying it's impossible to split them apart, but it's not that easy. Almost like you guys are the other half of each other. So maybe you're a lot alike in some ways. Maybe that's why this all took place, huh? Okay, so what is the advice? Queen of Swords. Stay defensive. Keep your emotions at bay as best as you can. And try to function within integrity and truth, okay? It's the Queen of Swords, not the King of Swords. So this is not all about being hyper strategic or anything. This is about being defensive and trying to keep everything within the truth, right? And what is the atmosphere? The High Priestess, yeah, secrecy. You're not seeing everything clearly, nor are they. There are a good deal of illusion and secrecy involved in this deal. Part of what I think you don't see and they don't see either is how bad either one and both of you is hurting. All right. What is your fear? You're fearing judgment. And that's because, like I told you, if we were to get technical, I feel like really the person that's going to get the blame on this is you. I don't kill the messenger, but that's just how I feel about it. Maybe not for all of you, but that's the way it feels for most of you. You're worried about the judgment here. So in some ways, I feel like because you're worried about the judgment and because you don't want to feel it and deal with it, it's like you're trying to just wash your hands of it and run away. It won't work out that way, but I mean, you're trying. Really, and all you're doing is compounding everything and making it worse in the long run. So maybe you just need to take a break for a minute. Okay, what do we have? Yeah, Eight of Wands. I mean, you guys need to talk. There is a total block in communication right this second. Even if you're talking, it's superficial and nothing's really getting through. There's no effective communication. Y'all need to figure out how to talk to each other right now. Because otherwise you're just going to continue to hurt each other. And there's no reason for that. There really isn't. Okay, bottom of the deck, real quick. I got to go. Ace of Pentacles, Strength card, and the Six of Wands. Definitely there is something here about being very worried about what other people are going to think of this situation. With the Strength card, you're feeling weak at times, and so you mask it with bravado, right? When you feel weak, you come out stronger than ever. And Ace of Pentacles, there's a new opportunity here for you two to pull this back together, but you'd have to get your proverbial heads out of your rear ends. That's what you'd have to do, okay? That's what I see for this week. Okay, there you go, Aries. Well, hey there, Taurus. How you doing this evening? We are here to do your subscriber content for this week. I've just opted to do a Celtic cross, and we'll see how that plays out. Okay, so for my Tauruses, let's see. Taurus, Taurus, Taurus. Okay, Taurus, when you close your mind, what are you thinking about? What are you worried about? What are you trying to work towards? What are you running from? What are you trying to obtain? What is right in the center of your brain right now? Wait, okay, sorry. I don't know why I did that. I saw myself in the picture. Anyways, Taurus, what do you got in the center of your brain right now? We're working with the world. Okay, so the world card in the center. So this is all about cycles that are closing and new ones that are opening. But I get the feeling that you are possibly more focused right this second on a cycle that's closing. Okay. What I'm trying to figure out is if the cycle's imminent, if it's closing is actually an imminent action, or is this something you're just worried about? I don't know. What's the challenge? The Four of Wands. So I would say that you are concerned that there is a cycle with a higher level soulmate that seems to be coming to a close, or that's how you feel about it. Okay, let's see. What is it you need to focus on? The Seven of Swords. Okay, so it would seem that you have a situation with a higher level soulmate, which doesn't have to be romantic. However, in this situation, it feels like it very well may be. So this is somebody who is intended to be in your life. This is somebody you're very much so invested in, as are they invested in you. I get the feeling this is somebody you intended to spend a very long time with, if you haven't already, okay? But something has taken place at this point, and it feels like it was on their end. Because you have to, we're talking to Taurus here. Taurus and Scorpio are the two most loyal signs, bar none, in my opinion, okay? So to get a Taurus to believe that a cycle could be closing, that's not easy to do in general, just to start with, okay? Because they will hold on for dear life. But something has happened here. Somebody has been deceptive. And in doing so, they've broken the chains of trust, okay? So despite the emotion or the investment that's already apparent in this dynamic, you don't believe a word they say anymore. I mean, if this person tells you they're going to go brush their teeth, you walk by the bathroom to make sure that's what they're doing. You know? And then want to know why they have to take their phone in the bathroom to go brush your teeth. I don't know. I've been there. This is how this feels. It feels like you just don't trust a thing that comes out of this person's mouth, and it's because they were deceptive towards you and you figured it out. Okay, what do we got? Let me see. What do you need to leave behind? So you get the Tower in this position. I get the feeling that the reason the Tower is here is because you have this enormous fear of this Tower, which I understand. I mean, yeah. I mean, I get it. It's not something people wake up, oh, goody, today's the day. People, rarely do they do that. If they do that, run away, because that's a strange person right there. But anyways, but towers are pretty much always necessary. You know what I'm saying? It means that something is no longer being built on a sturdy foundation. So it means the tower then is going to happen no matter what. What people don't stop to think about with the tower is that, yes, the tower falls, but then it's really up to the people involved to decide whether or not they want to rebuild. I mean, if they want to rebuild, then you try to make it more structurally sound. When you rebuild it, right, you make it so the foundation is solid enough to be able to support the tower or support the building. So it's not necessarily an absolute end. It can be, but it's not necessarily that way. At any rate, it looks like you have a very real fear of the tower, or what is life going to look like on the other side of the tower, I suppose. That's the fear. All right, what do we have here? This is your strength. So your strength is the Ace of Pentacles. So there is definitely opportunity, not just coming towards you, but I feel like there's opportunity around you right now. It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to grab a hold of it. It's kind of like if you were on the Titanic and they had all these little boats or whatever around, you know, the little lifeboats, and you could jump on there. Come on, jump on, come on, jump on. You know what I'm saying? And that would take you on into the world, right? And instead you're still standing on the Titanic. You know, you haven't decided yet whether or not you want to just go ahead and drown or get on the boat and go somewhere. That's how, I don't know, it's a terrible analogy, but that's what I see in my head. It's like nobody's going to save you unless you save you at this point. I think if you save you, then there's a chance if you still want to, you could try to save this. But you're going to have to save you first, and I don't know. You really, whatever they did, really, it shook you to the core as far as the trust issue. Okay, what do we got in the near future? 3 of Cups. Good friends. I think you have a pretty decent support group, whether you realize it or not, around you. People who truly care about you and people that are here to try to support you and make sure that you're okay. I'm going to take this as friends. Okay, so what is the advice? The Hangman. Get unstuck. Right now, the only reason you're stuck is because of you. You're making yourself stuck. If this is not where you want to be, then you have to do something to change it. Okay? Okay, what's the atmosphere? 9 of Wands. You're wounded. I mean, hello? Okay, who wouldn't be? But you've also made it through this. Whatever this is, you're at the other side of it now. That's why it's time for you to decide where you're going to go from here. Okay, what is the greatest fear? 6 of Swords. You're afraid to sail away. You're afraid to leave this behind you. And it's because, let's face it, you don't have a ton of practice. I mean, you are incredibly loyal. So for the most part, if you're invested somewhere, that's where you stay. You go to one nail lady, that's the one you go to forever. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, but I mean, you're very loyal to whatever you decide to invest in. But that doesn't mean that you can't make a wrong decision, or that somebody that you decide to invest in can't change and make a wrong decision. Okay? And then you have to deal with that accordingly, right? Okay. What do we got here? In the end, I've got Justice as the last card in this part. So that is all about the scales being balanced out. All right, what you got on the bottom? I've got the 9 of Cups, the Strength card, and the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups would speak of a new offer coming towards you. The Strength card would say that you may feel weak right now, but you have more than enough inner strength to deal with this. And with the 9 of Cups, I don't know. This Knight of Cups could definitely hold great promise here. Like maybe they could bring about wish fulfillment. I think maybe this situation brought about wish fulfillment at one time. But I think somebody burned a bridge and they burned it to the ground. So there you go. That's how I see it for now. Doesn't mean it can't be rebuilt, but it means it would take a lot of work on both people's part. Okay, for right now, though, you need to work about saving yourself, because you're not going to be able to save anything else unless you save you. Like in the airplane when the masks come down, right? You have to put yours on first. You have to take care of you first, and so that you can help other people. That's how that works. Okay? All right, Taurus, that's what I got this time. Okay. Hi there, Gemini. How we doing? I am here to do your subscriber content for this week. We are going to pull a Celtic cross and see what comes out. That sounds pretty easy, huh? Okay, let's do that then. Okay, Gemini. Let me see. I've got Gemini, Gemini, Gemini. Okay, Gemini. Oops. I don't like that. Then change it. I don't know what that's. Damn card fell out. What is it that you're thinking about? What are you focused on? What are you worrying about? What are you trying to get to? What do we got? What's up front and center this week? Okay, the 9 of Wands. So, it would seem for some reason that this week you are feeling quite wounded. Okay? This card is all about being wounded, yes, but it's also all about resilience, and it's all about the fact that you've made it through whatever this hardship was. So there's been a hardship here recently. Possibly a prolonged hardship that seems to have come basically to a close, or at least that's how it appears, right? And you're wondering, if it's come to a close, why am I still like this? What's going on? And it's because you're still trying to heal. I mean, you were extremely wounded by whatever this was, okay? All right, so what is the obstacle then? The Magician. So I could look at this a few different ways. I don't know if you are currently manifesting, but when you're manifesting, you are manifesting negativity. Probably not for yourself, right? But for whoever else was involved, that's possible. And that can just, it's like sometimes I feel like when people try to manifest negativity, it almost ricochets off of the universe and comes right back at them, right? That's one possibility. It's possible that somebody else is manifesting negativity towards you. You know, that's a possibility as well. And it's also possible that you're just not manifesting at all. You know, that you're not sure what to want because you're feeling too down about the whole situation. So you're just kind of floating through. At any rate, we need to have focused manifestation, right? We're focusing on positive manifestation. How's that? Okay. What is it you need to focus on here? 8 of Wands. Well, with the 8 of Wands down here and what you need to focus on, I get the feeling that for the most part you are suffering and feeling wounded, but you're doing it all pretty much in silence. I don't think that there's much of an outlet for you to communicate what you're feeling or you know, what you're going through. I think people around you think that, wow, they snap back pretty quick. You know, they're doing okay now. And it's like, yeah, they have no clue. You've just gotten really well at putting a mask on and pushing through, right? You need somebody to be able to talk to. I mean, you're Gemini, so you could just talk to yourself. You know, it's not a bad option, really. Rarely do you argue with yourself, so it kind of works out. But anyways, you need somebody to talk to, looks like. Okay, what do we got? What do you need to leave behind? 6 of Cups. You need to leave behind this fascination with what is behind you, okay? You are absolutely glorifying the past. So you are remembering only the best of times. And, only, you know, it's like when somebody falls in love with somebody else's potential, you are managing to look backwards and see it's all rose gardens and beauty, right? It wasn't all, you know, buttercup flowers and freaking rainbows, for sure, or you wouldn't be where you're at right now, okay? You're just not being realistic when you look back. You're stuck in a sense of nostalgia that's completely skewed and kind of delusional, okay? So, it's time to look forward. Quit looking behind you so much. Look forward. It's all about building the life you want, okay? That's what I see. Okay, what's your strength? 9 of Swords. Well, you're up in your head. It's okay. Got yourself an IKEA couch and a refrigerator. No. Your ability to overthink a situation is probably one of your strengths here, but I would say at this point it's something you need to try to leave behind. You need to get out of your head if possible. Okay, what do we got in the near future? The Knight of Swords. So you feel as though you have not obtained a sense of closure in this situation yet, because you're still on a crusade for clarity. I'm not sure why that is, really. I guess that's an individual situation here, but for some reason you are still continuing to look backwards, like I said, and you are looking for some sort of clarity that's going to bring you a sense of closure. I can't tell you that you're going to definitely not find it, but I feel like you'd be a lot better off if you could accept something and just go forward without it. Okay, what do we got here? What is the advice? 8 of Cups, walk away. Walk away. Leave it in your rear view mirror and then break the rear view mirror on the car off. Just break it off. Just, who needs to look behind you? Just keep going forward. That's kind of where you're at. You're trying to make sense of something that probably doesn't make sense because you're not dealing with logical people, right? Ever thought of that? You can't make sense of crazy. And I mean, maybe these people are crazy, or maybe you're crazy. I don't know. But whatever it is, you need to just close the door on it and walk away. I'm not saying you're going to do it, but that's what you need to do. Okay, so what's the atmosphere? 5 of Pentacles. All right, so you're feeling lonely. You feel as though you've been left out in the cold. But as long as you got a really nice jacket, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't really matter. You're in one of those hallways. You know, if one door closes, another one opens, you're kind of in the hallway right now. I don't know what to tell you except for if you keep taking small steps forward, no matter how small, they'll add up to big steps and you're going to get to where you need to go, okay? But you need to go forward, not backwards. That's what I see. Okay, what's your greatest fear? The Tower. Yeah. I feel like the Tower in this particular situation we're talking about for most of you has already fallen. But maybe that's got you gun shy about more coming towards you or something. I don't know. If the tower's already fallen and it wasn't a great experience, then you should move along, and so that you're not around it anymore. Go, 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 go. Move along. Walk away. All right, what do we got in the end? Four of Swords. You need time to heal. I think that's a given, right? Time to heal. What do we got here? Five of Swords, Eight of Swords, and the World. So you feel quite conflicted about the fact that this cycle's closing. I mean, you're up in your head and trying to figure out the who, what, where, why, when about a cycle that's closing out. Why? The only part you need is just a big red rubber stamp that says done and move along. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, you're just wasting time, it feels like. To me, it feels like. It's time to move forward, Gemini. That's what I see. Because your whole life is waiting for you. It's just a new starting point. That's it. Okay? That's what I got for Gemini. Oh. Hey there, Cancer. How are you today? I am here to do your weekly subscriber content. We are just going to pull a Celtic cross and see what all comes out. And that's pretty much the whole deal, okay? This one's going to be for my Cancers. Let's see. We've got Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Momo's right there. I don't know if she's coming up or not. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, so what is it that's on your mind, Cancer? What is it you're working towards? What is it you're worried about? What are you running from, running to, whatever? What do we got there? For you, it is the World. Okay. So the World card would mean that your focus this week is all about cycles opening and cycles closing. Okay. Let's see. What is the challenge to the World? The Hangman. Yeah. So there is a cycle in your life right this minute that is begging to close out. I think as well there is a new cycle that is begging to get traction. Okay. And you are holding both of them off, meaning that you're not allowing the one that wants to close, and you're not really, I think that you are entertaining the one that wants to open, but you're not really letting it get any traction, right? So you're stuck somewhere in the middle, somewhere between the future and the past. You're just not sure if you want to really let go of something from the past, and you're not sure that you want to grab a hold of the future. And you obviously cannot keep both. So the focus this week is trying to figure out which direction you're taking this, okay? All right, so what is it that you need to focus on? What are we focusing on? Let me see. I don't feel like that's the, let's see what we're doing. What do you got to focus on here? The Eight of Cups. So the focus is on walking away. As difficult as that might seem for you, Cancer, it would seem that if you don't walk away from, at the very least, a way of thinking, then you are going to lose it all in some ways, right? I'm not so sure that this is walking away from a person. It feels like there's much more of a metaphor here. This is about walking away from a way of thinking or dealing with something. I feel like this, the cycle that pertains to the person, I feel like that is not ending right now. It's not. I don't feel like it's set to close. It is the way that you think about the situation or the way that you deal with something in the situation. And that absolutely has to change. That cycle within a cycle has to change. Is how I see this. Maybe you don't deal with something, right? And that's what needs to change. Maybe it's time to communicate about something that's bothering you or something, but there's just something within this that needs to change. Okay, what is it you need to leave behind? And that's the Ten of Swords. So, obviously there has been some sort of betrayal within this dynamic that you are having a very hard time letting go of. Okay, I don't know whether this is recent or could be very old. I'm not sure, but whichever way it goes, it's something where you officially have forgiven the person, right? But in your heart, you can't seem to let go of it. It's still there. You know what I'm saying? So it's still building resentment and causing problems. I would have to lean towards it's because you're not talking about it. And that's what this is that you have to walk away, is the lack of effective communication about what's bothering you. You cannot heal this and close the door on it until you can talk about it, is how I feel. And rather than talking about it, you just try to push it down and keep going, but that's obviously not working out in the bigger picture. Okay, so what is your strength here? The Nine of Cups. I mean, this is your wish fulfillment. This is where you want to be, Cancer. If this is where you want to be, if this is your wish fulfillment, then why won't you do what you need to do to fix it? Right? I mean, you need to open a new cycle within this cycle with this person, it looks like. Almost like, not starting over, but I mean, in some ways, right? Trying to heal whatever this betrayal was and go forward, instead of just constantly building resentment and regret. You need to come down off your high horse and give this thing a chance is what it is, okay? All right, what do we have in the near future? The Seven of Swords. Wow. Okay, so doesn't mean that you're going to take my advice just because I give it to you, but Seven of Swords, there is some sort of a very strong lack of trust. I am unclear, actually, with the lack of trust, if this is on your part or theirs. Meaning, even though this is your reading, I feel like you can't let go of a betrayal, but possibly there's been betrayal going both ways, and they have their own issue here where they have developed a very serious lack of trust, is how this feels to me. Here again, it's something that's only going to be solved if you two figure out how to have effective communication. Okay? Things may seem all fine, right? They seem like a hot fudge sundae with whipped cream on top. Everything's just peachy to the outside world. But in reality, behind closed doors, you know this thing is simmering. You can take it off the stove and talk about it, or you can leave it there because eventually it will boil. Okay? All right, what do we got here? What is the advice? Four of Cups. You need to face down the parts of this situation that keep you disappointed and dissatisfied, which all still comes back to the same deal. You have to talk about it. You're going to have to talk about it to fix it. If you talk about it and it breaks it, doesn't fix it, then it was never meant to be. Okay? If that's what your fear is, that by talking about it, it's going to destroy it, then it was never meant to be. You're in the wrong place, I guess. I find that highly unlikely. I think you just have to bite the bullet and talk about it. Okay? Okay, what's the atmosphere? Seven of Pentacles. Everybody in this dynamic is currently teetering, trying to figure out whether or not they want to continue to invest here because it's not bringing around any sort of sense of peace or happiness right now, because you're not talking about the things that are building the resentment. Okay? All right, what is your biggest fear? The Page of Cups. That you're going to have to say you're sorry? I mean, is that your fear? Really? I'm not used to seeing that much ego in a Cancer reading, but okay. You don't want to admit you're wrong or admit what you have fault in or something? Okay, well. All right, what do we have in the future? The High Priestess. The High Priestess tells me in the near future what we have is you suffering in silence. So you continuing to stay this course. You're staying the course to destruction as long as you understand that. As long as that is the end goal that you were hoping for. Okay? If you think by staying the course and keeping quiet, this is going to suddenly just trip over a rock and turn into everything you ever wanted, you're crazy. It's not going to happen like that. You're going to have to face down your fears, and you're going to have to talk about whatever's not right. Otherwise, this will just keep going forward in the same way it's going right now, but pick up steam as it rolls, right? Okay, 3 on the bottom, we'll let it go. What do you got? 4 of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, and the 3 of Wands. So you're going to hang on to it for dear life, hoping that this person's going to miraculously turn everything around with a new offer, and then you're going to march into your future with happiness. Okay. I mean, you can be delusional if you feel like it. That's your option. But I'm telling you, if you don't figure out how to talk about what's wrong here, this thing is not going in the direction you want it to. Okay? You've got to get to the bottom of it. And then it can go the way you want it to. Okay, that's what I have this week for Cancer. Good morning, Leo. How are you? I am here to do your weekly subscriber content. This one is just going to be a Celtic cross, and we're going to see what comes out. So we're going to give it a whirl. Okay. Let us see. This one's for my Leos. Okay. Okay, Leo. When you close your eyes, what's sitting there in your third eye? What is it that's on your mind? What's worrying you? What are you running towards, running from? What are you trying to figure out? Let's see. What is the issue for this week? What we got going on? Okay. Well, that's a strong issue. 3 of Swords. So it would mean that right now you are definitely dealing with some sort of heartbreak. Okay. And it does feel current to me, meaning I don't think that this is something that's been dredged back up. I feel like this is a current heartbreak. Okay. So what's the challenge then? The Page of Cups. You don't want to apologize. Really, Leo? You don't feel like you've done anything wrong to be in this heartbreaking situation. So for that reason and that reason alone, you're unwilling to communicate or to talk to this other person and try to figure this out. As far as you're concerned, it's their fault. They need to apologize, and you're standing by it. Well, how's it feel to stand by that? How's it feeling right now? All right, what is it you need to focus on? Justice. I mean, you could be dealing with a Libra. It's possible, but I mean, more than likely, this just has to do with the fact that it probably boils down to the fact that both of you are probably needing to be held accountable in some way. I mean, it's really hardly ever one person's fault entirely, right? People both play into it. I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to excuse anybody's bad behavior. I'm just telling you that, okay, let's keep going. What is it you need to leave behind, Leo? The Two of Pentacles. So is it possible that this other person has made you angry because of something they have done? But before that happened, were they being pushed to the side because you're stretching yourself too thin? Is that possible? Were you trying to balance too many things at one time and they became less of a priority? Because there's something here about, I mean, what you need to leave behind is trying to juggle too many things at once because nobody's getting enough of your attention. I feel like this was a theme for you months back. It was for Leo. So have you pushed something that means the world to you onto the back burner and now you're mad because it's reacted? Or because it did something like a child to try to get attention? I mean, is that... I don't know. Okay, what do we have up here? What is your strength here? The Six of Pentacles. So your strength is you have a real sense of what reciprocity entails, okay? The fact that that's coming out with the Two of Pentacles in whatever this, what you need to let go of, makes me feel like somewhere deep down in your soul, you know that you were not giving this person the attention that they not only deserved or desired, but that you had promised. Almost like you were going back on your word. I'm not saying that that's your fault. I understand you're busy. You got a lot of things to do. But you do have to look at the train wreck. That's weird because you guys don't know what that is. That's something me and a friend used to talk about. But you have to look at what caused this. This didn't just happen. Whatever it is you're so angry about and that's broken your heart, it didn't just poof happen. There were things that led up to that. Okay, and I get the feeling with these cards that possibly what helped in leading up to that was you promising to make somebody the center of your world or leading them to believe that's where they would be, and then you got busy elsewhere. Now, I'm not saying you're cheating on anybody like that, but you just got busy. Maybe work, kids, I don't know. Things got to you. Hobbies. And so that you weren't giving them the attention that you had led them to believe they would receive. Okay? That's just what I see right here. So somewhere in your soul, you know that you had something to do with this. Maybe that's the part you don't want to admit or don't want to acknowledge. Okay, what do we have in the near future? The King of Cups. I actually do see you two talking again, and I do see you forgiving this person. I just see you doing it from a very self-righteous position, which is not necessarily the best way to go about this. I think you need to be a little more grounded and realistic in this situation and understand how you got to this place. Okay? I think you are a good enough judge of character that you didn't just pick somebody that was going to just fly off the rails for no reason. Okay, so I feel like this is somebody that had to be slowly but surely pushed in a direction. Whether you realized you were doing it or not, I don't think you realized it. I think, we rarely do, right? But I don't think that there was nefarious intent necessarily on either one of you's part. I think this was just something that kind of slipped and got out of control, is how I see this at any rate. But you are feeling quite heartbroken about it. So there you go. You have that. Okay, so what is the advice? The Queen of Wands. Hi, honey. I would say the advice is that you're in a position where you can have what you want. So if what you want is this person back, then you're going to have to put in the effort to make that happen. Okay. I'm almost here. There we go. What is the atmosphere? Eight of Wands. There's definitely been some sort of a breakdown in communication here. And I don't think it just started with this situation, with this particular whatever's happened right now. Meaning I think this has been a slow decline in communication that got you to this point. You definitely have to work on that if there's any hope to try to save this, if that's what you're headed towards. And then I have, what's the greatest fear? The Two of Cups. You're afraid that this is your divine union and you're messing it up, or that it's being messed up. You're afraid that this is where you're supposed to really be. Really? All the cards. Okay. And what is the outcome? It's your card, the Strength card. I mean, you're standing firmly in your power here in the near future. The outcome here. So if we were to boil this down in a different direction, if you end up with this person, that's because that's where you wanted to be. If you don't, that's because you had already given up on this and you didn't want to be here anymore. Okay? Because this is all going to come down to what you want in the end. With both the Queen of Wands and the Strength card, absolutely. It's going to play out exactly the way you wanted it to. So if it doesn't play out that you and this person get back together, and this person is somebody who's cross-watching for you, I would have to start to wonder if this wasn't the way that you set this up from the beginning to get rid of this person. That's how much control it looks like you have in the situation. Okay, I've got the King of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Moon. King of Swords to the Queen of Pentacles with the Moon. I get the feeling that you are in somewhat of a parental role within this dynamic. And it's possible you're doing, or all this is happening because you're trying to teach this person a lesson. You're really trying to be very controlling and get this person to bow down to what you want, is how this looks from the outside with these cards, okay? So that being said, it does look like you will be successful in whatever your mission was here, as far as in some ways trying to break this person to make them be what you want them to be. I'm sure that you're doing it for the greater good. I understand that, but still, I don't like that necessarily, but that's not my place. So, heartbreak with a purpose is how I see this right this minute. Or maybe it wasn't heartbreak, it wasn't how you intended it to turn out, but now that it's turned out that way, you care enough to try to change this person into what you need them to be or something. Show them the error of their ways, and so they don't make this mistake again. How's that? That's how I see it. All right. Good morning, Virgo. Okay, let's see what we've got for my Virgoians today. What is going on? This is your subscriber content for this week. We are just going to pull a Celtic cross and see what's there. And we'll go from there. Okay, this one's going to be for my Virgos. Virgos. Alrighty, what do you got going on, Virgo? What for this week? Where's the focus? What are you thinking about? What's on your mind when you're sleeping? What's stressing you out, or what's bringing you joy? Where are we at? For you, it is the Eight of Wands. Okay, to have the Eight of Wands in this position makes me feel like you are very frustrated right now and having a very hard time managing to effectively communicate the things that you're trying to communicate to people. Sorry. So, I'm not sure yet why. I don't know if this is because the people you're trying to communicate to aren't on your level. It almost feels like you're talking over people, the way it looks in my head. And I'm wondering if you're doing it on purpose or not. You know, if that's an insecurity for you, then possibly you do it on purpose to just kind of push people away. Maybe you don't realize you do it. I'm not sure, but this has something to do with communication, okay? And I feel like you're having a very hard time communicating effectively with the people that are around you. You have ideas and thoughts, and they're just not coming out the way that you are presenting them. They're not coming out the way that you intended it to, okay? And the frustration level here feels very high. So maybe if you're mindful of that, you'll have an easier time trying to get past this part. But anyways, what is the challenge to this? It is the sun. I mean, not only is this being illuminated to you, meaning that possibly you had no idea that this was what was happening. Maybe you just didn't understand why nobody understood you, right? The other part of this, though, is that you've realized that unless you can figure out how to effectively communicate with these people, you feel very alone. And in that, there is no happiness. So you're trying to figure out a way to balance the two out, to be able to communicate and find happiness with these people that you're having such a difficult time with right now. Which feels like everybody. It feels like you feel incredibly alone because you can't find anybody to really effectively communicate with. All right, let's go. What is it you need to focus on? The Nine of Wands. I mean, this whole situation right here has made you feel quite wounded. I think you've been through bigger problems. You know, I think you've made your way through things that were much more severe emotionally or whatever. But this is something that seems continuous, so it's wearing on you. It's just wearing on you, wearing you down. You're starting to feel like you'll never find, you know, your soul tribe or your people that really get what you're talking about. I have a feeling that it has more to do with you needing to figure out how to adjust the way you do what you do, as far as talking goes. Okay? I don't think it's necessarily the people, because it feels like for me right now that it's all the people. So I don't feel like it can be all the people. It just has something to do with the way you communicate. It just has to be altered in some way so that you can still be authentic, but somehow allow more people to understand where you're coming from. Here's what I see. What is it you need to leave behind? The Ace of Wands. So you have a tendency to be somebody, when you get a new idea or when you go on a new whatever, something piques your interest, you go all in, okay? You become immersed in whatever that one topic is, and that's the only topic then that you want to talk about it. And you talk about it with a great deal of fire, a great deal of passion, okay? Maybe a little bit too much, okay? So people around you are like, I don't know. It's just, you have to learn to temper things. Things just have to be balanced. They have to temper them some. You definitely become hyper-focused when you find a new topic or a new subject. And then that becomes the only thing that you want to talk about. And it can be very difficult for people around you to support you in that. Okay? Especially if it's something they don't necessarily know anything about or have any interest in, right? All right. What is your strength here? Let's see. I've got the Four of Cups. You're deriving a sense of strength out of the fact that you're disappointed and dissatisfied with the current state of affairs. It's like when things go wrong, it fuels your fire to go forward. You know what I'm saying? That's a very toxic combination, but that is what it seems like. It seems like when nobody understands you and you get to the point where you feel alone like this, then that somehow pushes you forward. That's truly toxic, Virgo. You have to work on that. That's a recipe for never finding the happiness that you want and deserve. I'm telling you, this whole thing comes down to you needing to find a sense of balance. There has to be more balance in the things that you're doing. Okay, what do we have in the near future? The Seven of Cups. I mean, you have a ton of options. As far as directions you can go in and people you can talk to, it's just right this second. It feels like, even in this card, this person is at the bottom, and I don't know if you can see it, and all these cups are floating above them, but they're all just barely out of reach. And it's because somehow the way that you're doing this, it's alienating people. It's like the more you want to pull people towards you, the way that you deal with this communication issue is you're just pushing them further away. Almost to the point where you're getting your feelings hurt because they're avoiding you, but it's because you can't seem to find this sense of balance. You have to find a sense of balance. There has to be reciprocity within the dynamic as far as the communication goes. I know it's difficult because it's when you get caught up in it, that's, it's all you can think about, all you do, but yeah. Okay, what do we have down here? What is the advice? The Star. Don't lose hope. It's going to work out. It's a growing process. It's just a process. I mean, in time, you're going to find a way to find balance, and it's going to bring a sense of healing to you. But right this second, you are struggling with it. Just don't lose hope. Keep making steps forward, no matter how small, you'll get there. And the atmosphere is the Two of Swords. You have to make a decision. You have to decide to try. I mean, if you want to continue to alienate people and push them away, that's on you. You're the Virgo. I mean, Hermit is your card. If you really want to spend the rest of your life kind of in solitude, then that you can keep doing it this way. But I don't think that's what the real dream for you is. I think you really do want to find true happiness and true love. And in needing to do that, you're going to have to find more of a sense of balance and compromise, okay? Here's what I see. And what is your greatest fear? The Devil. It's an insecurity that's fueling all of this. All of this is being fueled by an insecurity. A fear of looking stupid, or a fear of people thinking that you're not a success, or there's just this fear of people looking down on you. That is the insecurity that's fueling all of this. But it's fueling all of this and pushing you in the wrong direction. You need to rein this in. I mean, you're a Virgo, so you can be very grounded and very realistic, and that's where you have to get to right now, okay? I feel like. Okay, and what do we got in the end? The Five of Wands. You're very conflicted right now on whether or not to face this insecurity and this fear. You're afraid it's going to swallow you whole and you're not going to be able to get back out of it if you face it. I assure you that's not the case, but I can see why you're so scared. I mean, it looks very fiery and scary. It is just I mean, it's something you're going to get past, but it is definitely not easy to get through this part, okay, this situation right here. There is something on the inside of you that is broken. It is an insecurity that you are very fearful of the way people are, the way they are seeing you. And so you mask it with this huge amount of bravado, which in your case is words. You just throw all these words out there to make yourself look a certain way. Other people might go out and fight or go bodybuilding. I don't know, whatever that is that they do, okay? In your case, you do it with words. But by putting all those words out there, it's like putting up a big shield. And right now, that shield is being very effective in putting people away, pushing people away. All right. Compromise and balance. What do we have on the bottom? The Fool, the Five of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords. Yeah, you're up in your head because you're feeling left out in the cold. You feel very alone, and you are alone right this minute in a lot of ways, and it's because you keep pushing these people away. With the Fool, you want desperately to take a leap of faith towards something you can invest in. And I think that you should, and I think that you will, but you're going to have to figure out how to temper this constant bravado of words is the only way I can think of it. It's like a shield of words that you put out in front of you. You talk down to people on purpose so that you can feel superior. I get it, but it is not working out the way that you want it to. Okay, you're doing it so people don't look at you as whatever, coming from a place of lack or being stupid or something like that is what your fear is. But in doing it, you make yourself look like you are superior in a way that everybody just turns around and walks away from you. You've got to get a handle on this for sure. Maybe if you're mindful of it and understand what's happening, you can better work with it, okay? You just need to rein it in, and so that you can understand that people are not trying to look down on you. But they do have to kind of see you as their equal. That's kind of the way that works, yeah? A little bit. Okay, that's what I have for this week. There. Good morning, Libra. How are you today? I am here to do your subscriber content for this week. That's a whole deal. We're going to pull a Celtic cross and see what comes out. That's what we're doing. Okay? All right. Let us see. What do I got for my Libras? Excuse me. Libra. Okay. Okay, Libra. For this week, what is it you're thinking about? What are you worried about? What can't you sleep over? What are you dreaming for? What are you doing here? What are you going towards, running away from? What do we got? Let's see. For you, strength. Okay. So, with the Strength card being the focus this week, it makes me feel as though you are doubting your own inner strength. So you are feeling weak in some way right now. And I feel like you're feeling weak at a time when people are depending on you or pushing you to be stronger than maybe you've ever felt like you had to be, right? You're having to exhibit a huge amount of inner strength that you don't feel like you have. I'm sure you do have it, but you don't necessarily feel like you do. Okay. All right. So what's the obstacle to the strength? The Nine of Pentacles. So it feels to me as though something is threatening your independence. Now, I could see where this could come from a lot of different directions. For some of you, your actual employment could be, I don't know, seeming iffy, or, you know, I don't know, maybe you get in trouble at work and you're worried about that kind of thing, about you know, keeping your income is what it is, keeping your income flow the way that it is right now. I'm not saying it's changing. I'm just saying it's a fear that you seem to have at this point, if that is the way this goes. For others of you, this almost feels like there could be a legal issue that threatens your independence or something. And for another group of you, I could actually see where this could spiral its way into being political, which I don't do political readings, but I can see where that could be, where you're fearing your... Anyways, in some way, you are fearing right now your independence being taken from you, it looks like. Or what makes you independent being taken from you, something like that. You feel like it's threatened, okay? And you are worried because it's making you feel weak. You're not sure that you have the strength to be able to fight back, or maybe you feel like whatever you're fighting against is bigger than you. Okay, let's see. I'm not saying any of this is going to happen. I'm saying this is where your head's at. Okay, so what is it you need to focus on? The Five of Swords. Fight. That is where the focus needs to be. No matter how small you may feel, or insignificant, or maybe you feel like you can't fight against a big company, corporation, I don't know, whatever this is. Fight. That's what this is. Focus on fight. Okay, what do you need to leave behind? What do you got? What do you need to leave behind? A love situation. So, here again, I could take this a lot of different ways, but there is a situation here that is definitely heavily laden with emotion, okay, but surrounded by a very high level of uncertainty right now. I don't necessarily think that this is a relationship, like this is somebody you're dating. I don't feel like that's what this is at all. This is something you care very deeply about, that you feel like is surrounded suddenly by a bunch of uncertainty over decisions that need to be made. I hate this reading. I don't do political readings, and I feel like for a lot of people that's what this is. I feel like we're talking to Libras, and I feel like your sense of fair has been, your spidey senses when it comes to fair and equal are just blazing right now because of whatever's going on in the world. And you're not sure how you can stand up against it or how you can take a stand with it. That's how I feel like this is working out for a lot of you. I can still see where it could be a job, but I just don't feel like that's what this is. But I can't really change, can't really stop and restart the reading. That doesn't make much sense. That wouldn't make me very authentic, would it? Okay. Okay. Something in your world right now seems incredibly unfair to you, and you are trying to figure out how to find justice here. But you feel like you're insignificant and you can't necessarily fight against the machine that's bringing the injustice. That's how I see this right this second. Whether that is a job you have at home or whether it is something bigger on a bigger scale. Whichever way this plays out for you, that's how I see it. Okay. What is your strength here? The Four of Pentacles. Your strength is you're not going to give up on what's yours. What you consider to be yours, you'll fight to the death. You're just not going to let it go. Not without saying something. Not without putting up a fight. And that's why, as above, so below. That's why we have Five of Swords on the bottom to the Four of Pentacles. Whatever is yours, you're hanging on to for dear life. You know what I'm saying? It's everything to you, so you're not going to just let it go. Now I got chills. Okay, well, this is a spectacular reading. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, here we go. What do you got in the near future? Wow. I couldn't make that up if I tried. You got justice. So, not only is this you standing in your power, but it is also you know, the scales being balanced out. What is fair will prevail, is what it's saying. Wow. Well, there you go. Huh. Okay. Now that's going to make me cry. See, I don't know why I do this sometimes because, you know, I get too emotional and stuff. Let's go, God. Okay. What is the advice? King of Cups. Keep your emotions under control. That is what this is saying. Whatever this dynamic is for you, okay, if you let your emotions run the show, it will have not the outcome that you want. You have to do this from your Libra-esque. You have to do this from the part of you that knows what's right and what's wrong. Okay? It's all about you managing to do this more from a mental space and a space of integrity and what is fair versus your emotions. Okay? What is the atmosphere? Four of Wands. It says that the atmosphere that you are standing in right now, whether that is your place of employment, your house, or whether you're worried about the world, is exactly where it's supposed to be. This is destiny. You are where you are supposed to be right now. Okay? Whew. Anyways, okay, what do we got here? What is your fear? The Eight of Cups. You're afraid of walking away. You know you have to stay and fight. To run, I mean, you know, yeah. If you turn around and walk away because you can't. You just can't. You have to fight for what's right. Okay. And in the end, the Seven of Pentacles. This is all about deciding where you want to invest. I mean, this is a ball that is firmly placed right now in your court. You decide what you want to do from here. You decide what is fair and which direction to go. Okay, bottom of the deck. Whew, the Star card, the Queen of Wands, and the Knight of Pentacles. Wow. The Star card would say that you know that things will get better. They will. But you have to do your part. With the Queen of Wands, your desired result will come through. But it may take time and it's going to take effort. And with the Knight of Pentacles, things are moving kind of slowly. You want things to be better yesterday, and that's not the way this works. But you'll get there. Just remember to err on the side of caution and remember to stay within your integrity. That's the number one thing here. You have to stay within authenticity and integrity. Don't get caught up. Understand that you're fighting for what's right. I'm done with that one. Okay, there you go. Ooh, good morning, Scorpio. How are you doing today? I am here to do your subscriber content for this week. That's it. That's what we're doing. Okay. We are going to pull a Celtic cross and see what comes out, and we'll take it from there. Alrighty. Let's see. 1, 2. Okay, let's see what you got. Okay, so what is it you're thinking about? What do you got going on right now? Is there something you're trying to work towards? Something you're trying to run away from? Is there something you're dreaming about? Is there a nightmare you've got going on? What do you got going on right this second for you, Scorpio? What are we looking at? Okay. Ace of Cups. Oh, that could be a nightmare. No, it's not. I'm just playing with you. Ace of Cups is a good thing, right? So, Ace of Cups in the center tells me there is an opportunity when it comes to love. With the feather, I don't know. I feel like this, for a lot of you, this is something that you have worked very hard on. This is a reconciliation, it feels like, for a lot of you. For others, maybe this is something brand new. But even if it's brand new, it is something it feels like you've had to put a great deal of effort towards nurturing and making come towards you, okay? It doesn't feel like somebody you met in a bar last night. This feels like something you've worked at. This was somebody you've tried to get a chance with, and for most of you, this feels like somebody you're trying to pull something back together with, okay? And with this card in the center, it means not only is that your focus, that it feels to me like you're getting traction on this focus, okay? Okay, so what's the obstacle then? The Knight of Wands. So the obstacle is the fire and passion? Especially for those of you that this is a reconciliation. I guess if not, then this is something that started off, either way, it started off as something that was incredibly passionate. So it started off kind of trying to quell a passion. So it's like it's a, it feels almost situationshipy, right? It's that you meet somebody and you see them across a crowded room and you got to have them type deal, right? So you rush in. Okay, fine enough. Over time, the passion has not subsided. I mean, it feels like the passion is still here, but over time, it feels as though emotions begin to emerge or to develop, possibly out of sync, huh? And left you in a place where you were unclear on what this situation was anymore. What is this? Because now I feel something. So is there something on your side too? Or are we just still doing this physical thing? You know, it feels like something got kind of braided up and tangled up, huh? So you don't want the passion to go away. Who would, right? But I mean, you want to know, is there more to this for you or is there not? Because for you, something obviously more has come about now. And maybe they're claiming with them it has not. I don't know. Let's see. What do you need to focus on? The Devil, huh? Now, you could be dealing with a Capricorn, but for the most part, I feel like this is speaking to obsession, right? So, what was supposed to be nothing but fun somehow developed emotions that weren't necessarily intended to develop. Or maybe they developed and you tried to keep them quiet. It feels like right now, because in the beginning I said this is reconciliation. So I feel like right this minute you two are in some sort of separation. Or if you're still talking to each other, it feels incredibly surface level. And what you desire or need is much deeper. And it's turning into an obsession. Okay, so what do we have? What do you need to leave behind? The Nine of Cups. For some of you, I feel as though one or both of you was already involved with somebody else when this came about, huh? So there is a sense of somebody already having something established, okay, which was their wish fulfillment. They had already, you know, embarked on that journey. Then you guys found each other. Obviously, something jumped off. Now there have been emotions that are developed on one side, and I think the other person is claiming they're not having emotions, although I do believe they do. And what needs to be left behind is somebody's established wish fulfillment in order to pursue this, which seems like it is teetering on unlikely in some ways, which is what's causing the obsession. I do feel the obsession and the feelings are two-sided in this situation, in case you're curious. Okay, what do we have? What's the strength here? The Page of Swords. You know what's going on here. I mean, intuitively, you know that this other person has feelings, whether they admit it or not. And you know you're managing to push this thing. You're managing to swing it in your direction. But it's taking a lot of work and a tremendous amount of patience on your part. And I think there's just a little bit of fear about the karma that could be encrusted in this, right? Just a little bit. Let's see, what do we have in the near future? Two of Wands. Yeah. You hold all the power in this situation from every angle. But you are having, it may, on the outside, maybe it looks like you're sad, depressed. Not, I don't know what it looks like on the outside, but I'm telling you what, you are thriving in this atmosphere, thriving on this head game. You really are. As quiet as that's kept, okay? I'm letting your secret out, but you are. And you are winning. And you're going to win, period. You know that. Huh. Okay, what is the advice? The Sun. Why do I feel like the Sun is cautionary? It feels like the Sun is to be very careful because this is going to be illuminated. Your part in this or your manipulation of the situation is standing to be illuminated if you're not careful. And I feel like it's something that needs to be kept under wraps, and you could lose control of that very easily here. Okay, what's the atmosphere? The Knight of Cups. You got an offer coming in. Yeah. What's your fear? Seven of Swords. Your fear, excuse me, your fear is very valid. It is, if it is illuminated that you have manipulated this situation to the degree that you have, there will be a total breakdown in trust here. So you may end up with the prize, but it won't be the prize you wanted anymore because there will be no trust, so no way to develop more emotions. And what is the outcome? Five of Cups. Wow. A sense of loss and regret is the outcome on the current trajectory. Now, mind you, you have all this information at this point, so you can do with it what you want. If you can pull back enough to make it so that the fact that you've manipulated the situation to this degree is not illuminated, I think you could get a different outcome. But as it stands right now, you're headed for the Five of Cups, it looks like. I have the Seven of Cups, the Two of Swords, and the King of Pentacles. Oops, okay. And that one. What do you got? The Six of Pentacles. In the beginning, I said something about you having a very small degree of trepidation, let's say, about possible bad karma. I can see where that could play in. You guys have a history. King of Pentacles. This person you're dealing with is definitely trying to make sure that they don't do anything to overstep their boundaries. I don't know. They're trying at this point, which is a little late in the game, but at this point, they're trying very hard to do things right? They're trying now to not cause themselves bad karma or not cause themselves unnecessary drama, but it's a little late in the game to decide to do that, right? Two of Swords, Seven of Cups. The overriding thing I feel here is that you are playing a game. I mean, it is what it is. You intend to win, and I think you will. I'm just not sure if you're going to damage the prize before you manage to win it. I hope that made sense. Just be very cautious, okay? All right, that's what I got for Scorpio. Okay, Sagittarius. Okay, how are you today? I am here to do your subscriber content. Excuse me. We are going to just pull a Celtic cross and see what comes out, and we will take it from there. All right. Let's see. This one's going to be for Sagittarius, Sagittarius, Sagittarius. What you got going on, Sagittarius? No, sorry, my nose is messing with me. What is it that you have right in the front of your head, right here, right in your brain? What is it that won't let you go to sleep at night? What is it you wake up dreaming about? What are you doing right now? What is it that you're on the hunt for? That you're trying to go on a quest to make your own or something? Let's see. What do you got? Two of Swords. Well, now neither of us knows, right? Because you can't decide. It looks like this week your main focus is some sense of indecision. Okay? Well, that's a terrible place to be at. What are you doing here? Okay, sorry. If you haven't decided, you can't go after anything. You can't pursue anything. And we all know you love a challenge and to pursue something. So come on now. What are we doing? What's the challenge to the challenge? What do we got going on? Queen of Wands. Wow. So you found nothing right now that's piquing your interest. There's nothing that you feel like you want to chase after. You know right now if you find something you want, you can have it. And that is actually taking a little bit of sparkle away from you. Because there's nothing for you to invest in running after, right? Well, there you go. That's too much of a good thing almost right there, isn't it? Okay. So what is it you need to focus on? The Ten of Wands. So when a Sagittarius doesn't have anything that they see in front of them that they're trying to pursue, basically. Sagittarius love a challenge. They love to go pursue something. They love the chase. They love that kind of stuff. And it doesn't have to be that it's in a romantic sense. They love to chase in anything. Whether or not they can do laundry faster, or whether or not they can get that job or that promotion, or whether they can raise good kids, whatever the challenge for them is, that is what gets them up in the morning. That is what makes them feel alive. That's what they love to do, to try to pursue something or chase something and then achieve it, okay? They're very, very, very goal-orientated. It's just something that keeps them going. So that's when they have spring in their step. Right this second, it looks as though because you have nothing in front of you that you are necessarily trying so hard to chase, okay, to try to attain or whatever, it is causing you to focus then only on the things that you have that are weighing you down, okay? So it makes, and the reason you're in this position is because you've gotten to a point where you know you can have whatever you want or something. Everything that you wanted, you've achieved right now or something. I think it's a temporary state of being, but right this second, it's kind of an off way of being for you. Okay, let's see what we got. What do you need to let go of? The Eight of Swords. You're way too far up in your head right now. It also almost feels like if you do see a challenge, you're rationalizing your way out of it. Why? I don't know. Okay, what's your strength? The High Priestess. Nobody around you even realizes that things aren't right. It's between me and you, huh? No, we're the only ones that know that something's not right in your head right now. I feel like on the outside, everything for you looks perfect. People are like, wow, they got it going on. Look at them. You know, you got whatever, the perfect life, the perfect partner, the perfect whatever. Perfect car, perfect job, bop, 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 bop. Everybody thinks you've just got it made, and they don't understand unless you have something that you are trying to obtain or pursue or chase. You're dead inside almost. It's like you're crumbling inside. But you don't know how to complain about what you've got because you've got, everything looks great. So it looks like you are in a bit of a pickle here. I would not be overly alarmed. This is not a reading I've had for you before or any time in the recent past. So I think this is just a temporary lull. But it's not an easy thing to push through. Something will pop by that piques your interest, and you'll get back on your normal chasing something type deal here in a minute. Some sort of goal. Okay, what do we have in the near future? Page of Swords. You're trying right now to look inward and figure this out. You're trying to find a sense of clarity about what's going on. What is the advice? Eight of Cups. There's something about a way of thinking here. There's something about a way of thinking that you need to turn away from. There's a way of thinking that is causing you to, I don't know if it's causing, remember I said over here that you were like, when you do find challenges, you're rationalizing them away, or you're rationalizing the ability to chase them. Like you're like, oh, I don't really need that, or oh, I don't really want that. I don't know. You have to walk away from that way of thinking because it's like taking away the lifeblood of a Sagittarius to be that way. I guess you're trying to find happiness and be content in what you have. And that's fine, you can do that. But if to truly be happy, you have to have something that you're still trying to get to, okay? Okay, what's the atmosphere? Ten of Swords. You're betraying yourself. You're betraying the essence of who you are authentically. What is your fear? The Two of Cups. You're afraid you're going to lose a divine union. Well, I didn't tell you how to go out and chase people. You have to go out and chase something. You can go out and chase being the best tennis player, or I don't know, being the best at your job or something else. You don't have to go out and chase people. Okay, Sagittarius, they're not the only thing to go out there and chase. I mean, you can still find a sense of balance and make sure that you still are, you know, home enough or give them enough attention. It's just you have to have something to get you fired up. That's how this works. You will. You'll figure this out. Okay, what do we got over here? Ace of Wands. Yeah, you need something to fire you up. It's just who you are. You know what I'm saying? That's just who you are. You need something. You could be chasing, I don't know. You could be the best crossing guard in town. Or I don't know what you need to chase. You could raise the best whatever dog. The little wiener dogs or something and take it to show someplace. You just have to have something. There has to be something you're competing in or chasing after. Okay? All right, at the bottom, I've got the Empress, the Knight of Cups, and the Hierophant. Yeah, your whole thing here is that you have found who you want to be with. You have found the commitment that you want to be in as far as a person goes, it looks like. And you don't want to do anything to threaten that. That's fine. Don't chase people, please. And stay in your commitment. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. But you've got to find something, okay? That's how this works. I'm telling you, it's how it works. To have a happy Sagittarius, they have to be trying to achieve something. Okay, that's what I got for Sagittarius. Hey there, Capricorn. How are you today? I am here to do your subscriber content for this week, okay? So, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to do a Celtic cross, and we're going to see whatever comes out for you is what comes out, okay? All right. Okay, let's see. For my Capricorns. Okay, Capricorn. Where's your focus this week? What are we worried about? What are you trying to get to? What are you running from? You know, what's on your mind? Oh, well, we got Momo. Momo's front and center. Okay, Momo. Hold on. Let's do this. Okay. For Capricorn, what's they got? Okay. Center of your world right now, it looks like, is a tower, or that is what you're concerned with, what you're thinking about. Okay, I can do it around you, Momo. It's okay. It is a Momo. It's a good kitty. Okay, what is the challenge to this tower? So I don't know right here. Because I said, what are you thinking about, or what are you focused on? I feel like it is fear of a tower. So I don't feel like this tower has happened yet. But I feel like you are fearing that it's going to, or something. Are you trying to hold it off? I don't know. Let's see. What's the challenge to the tower? The Six of Swords. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of fear of this tower here. And you are trying desperately, with everything you've got, to get the situation into calmer waters before it falls apart. Okay? Hi, honey. Okay. That is what I see there. So you know that something is being threatened, or you feel as though a situation is very threatened right now, and you're trying to sail it, you know, out of the chaos into some sort of a sense of peace before it falls apart. Fair enough. Okay. What is it you need to focus on? The Ace of Cups. Okay, so obviously it would seem to me that we are talking about a love situation. I can't help it, Capricorn. What I feel like is happening here is I feel like you're trying to desperately save something that is intended to fall apart right now. But it's intended to fall apart because it is currently being built on a foundation that will not sustain it, okay? I feel like there is an opportunity for it to come back together and be rebuilt correctly. But that can't happen unless you let this tower fall. Meaning, if you continue to build on this faulty foundation, it's going to fall eventually anyways. And there might not be an opportunity to bring it back together. But right this minute, it looks like the opportunity is there. If you can let this fall apart for a minute so that it could come back together correctly. That's what I feel like it's saying, okay? Okay, really, Momo's going to do everything she can to make sure she's on top of the cards, okay? So that's where I'm paying attention, so that's what she's going to do. Okay, so what is it you need to leave behind? The Three of Swords. So what you need to leave behind is this heartbreak. And I feel like the heartbreak is not even here yet. I feel like it's anticipated heartbreak, you know? I feel like the heartbreak is going to be evident either way, right? It just is. Whatever you have here has been, it's being built on a foundation that can't sustain it. There's not another way to put that. Okay, what do we have? What is your strength here? Your strength is your dedication. I mean, you're loyal and you are 100% committed to this. So that is, it is what it is. I mean, it'll come back together, I feel like. But if it doesn't fall apart, it can't come back together and be right. And so otherwise it's just going to stay wobbly. There we go. It's wobbly. Okay, Momo. You're right in the middle, you know. Okay. All right. What do we have in the near future? And we have the Death card. And it is because of exactly what I just said. Because this thing needs to fall apart and transform so that it can be brought back together correctly. I don't know what else to say about that. I know it kind of sucks, but it really doesn't. I mean, you have to step back and look at it from the bigger picture, right? I mean, in the long run, this is happening for the best. But, I mean, I understand it doesn't feel like that right this second. Okay. On the bottom, no, not on the bottom. What's the advice? Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is talking about you having many different directions you can go in, many different options. What this tells me is the ball is in your court. This tower is going to fall and, enable it to be rebuilt correctly if you allow it. But it looks like you have enough say in the situation that you could keep things on the same track they're on right now. You're just not going to get the desired result on this track. Okay? Something here is off. Okay, and the atmosphere, Nine of Pentacles. You're not really listening to nobody, are you? You are very much so. Being very headstrong and stubborn right this minute. Maybe that is part of the problem here. Part of the problem that's caused this foundation to be faulty could possibly be your inability or unwillingness to sacrifice a sense of independence. That could be part of the reason why this is on a faulty foundation. You have a fear of vulnerability or of opening up to this person in a way that's going to allow things to truly flow. I'm sure that if that is the case, you are that way for a reason. I get it, but I doubt that the reason you're that way is because of the person you're dealing with right now. So it's kind of unfair if you think about it. Here again, you got to look at things from the bigger picture stance, okay? Maybe you have to lose this person to realize how much you really cared about them, and then maybe when you come back together, you will be willing to be vulnerable. I'm just saying it's possible because you're getting the Nine of Pentacles in the atmosphere, which makes me, well, one of you, this is the case for one of you. One of you doesn't realize how much the other one means to them or is unwilling to open up enough to let this thing really flow. So maybe a separation is the only way that you will realize that, or they will, one of the two. Okay, your biggest fear, the Page of Swords. You're afraid of the truth. You're afraid of authenticity, and you're afraid of vulnerability. Aren't we all? But yours might be a little more severe. That's it. I mean, so it's not like you have a set of problems that everybody else hasn't dealt with and gotten through, because you're going to get through it too. But it does look like it is something that you are in the midst of dealing with, or you're dealing with somebody who's in this situation. One of the two. Really? You're just going to flash everybody now? Okay, Momo. In the end, Eight of Cups. This is not Eight of Cups as in walking away from this person. Okay, this is Eight of Cups as in walking away from the way that you are dealing with this situation. And like I said, this boils down to either. It is either you or your person. I guess it could be your person and not you. But either way, one of you is in a position where they do not realize exactly how much the other person means to them. And it is because they're just very closed off. They may be in the situation and doing things the way that they're supposed to be, but they are not allowing their emotions to flow, and they're not allowing for a state of vulnerability that will lend itself to growth here. Okay? So everything just stays stagnant. Okay, bottom of the deck. I'm so out of time. Two of Pentacles, Four of Swords, and Ten of Swords. Two of Pentacles, you are definitely juggling what to do here. Four of Swords, you need time to heal from whatever's gone on. Not with this situation. You need time to heal from whatever happened in the past that's causing you to be this closed off. And the Ten of Swords. By not allowing this tower to fall in the end, you are betraying not just yourself, but this relationship. Is what I see. Okay? Flip and switch the roles where they go. So it's one of you or the other. Yes, Momo, I love you. Momo loves you too. All right, you guys, that is what I have for today. There you go. We did it.